I am your host, Carrie Scollin, giving us different perspectives on where we are and where we want to go on our journey. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to spending some time with you. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Founder Series. I'm your host, Carrie Scollin, and I have another beautiful author with me. Her name is Lesa Mueller. We are talking about the new Volume 2 release, Beautiful Chaos, Embracing the Unexpected. Lesa is a second-time author. And Lesa, I'd love to invite you in and dive into your chapter and really allow people to get a bit more insight to where you were when you were writing the chapter and how you feel now that it's out there in the world. And we've both had a little bit of this experience with being in Volume 1, but it's no less exciting as Volume 1 was. I feel it's a new group of people, and it's like you're just excited to get it out there.
Yeah, it's been an incredible experience, and certainly being involved in the first volume gave me the confidence to continue. And a new experience that I wasn't expecting to have, and the lessons that it taught me, I just feel so strongly that it can help someone move through a process that they might be having. And that's my hope. That's my hope.
Yeah. And I think that's what, to me, if these books are remembered for anything, it was that we all came from that pure intention of just helping one person. That was always our goal. It seemed like that was every single person's goal that came in here, was if by me sharing my story helps one other person that may be going through or have gone through something we have, then it was a success. So I feel that way already, because I've been blessed to be able to read these chapters. So I know that each one of you have already helped one person. So in my eyes, it's a pure success for sure. So Lesa, your chapter is called Inhale Love, Exhale Gratitude. Can you talk to me a little bit about what made you decide to do it again? And I know I'd love to talk about the main message that you want readers to get. And when I ask that question, sometimes I kind of go, sometimes we put something out there and we don't know what readers are going to get, because everybody's going to take away something different, which is amazing. Exactly. And I love that. But we usually go in with our own message thinking this is what the reader's going to get. And then sometimes we get the surprise that somebody will come back to us and tell us what they got from it. We're like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't think about that part, right? So did you go in with it with a certain, or did you just kind of write from your heart and let it come out?
I wrote for advocacy, but certainly as I made my way through the writing, there's a lot of things that came out for me that I feel are really important. And it really just depends where you're at in your journey, with what is going to be the biggest takeaway for you. And I think, for sure the biggest thing is being present. And when you're taking that moment to inhale the love and literally focus on feeling that in your body, and then exhaling with gratitude and feeling that gratitude in your body, that's what brings you back to being present and really appreciating what is there in front of you at that moment, because it's so easy to be caught up in the fear. Right. We all want to know, oh, what's going to happen next, and so we can be prepared. And we can't have that, right? And as much as we try, it consumes us. It consumes our energy. It consumes our ability to process and even think clearly. And that's really what the chapter is about. It's how can we advocate for not only ourselves but those people that we love in those stressful times, and do it gracefully and with love. If we can come from a place of love, then our decisions, they're easy to make.
Yeah. When you're coming from that place, I totally agree. If we could all come from that place, I think that's a practice. I think that's what we're here for, is to practice coming from love.
And I know that's, for me, that's who I am at my core, and who I'm meant to be, and where I'm meant to come from.
Right.
And and no, you're right, that won't be for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
But I still feel there's different little pieces in here that are going to resonate.
Yeah.
And being able to um, witness and observe how other people respond is also
Mm.
very valuable in
Mm-hmm.
um, understanding, um, where why they're doing what they're doing. And
Right.
there's no right or wrong. It's
Right.
we all navigate the best that we can at the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what we bring to the table, it's where we're at. So being gentle and
Exactly.
kind.
And everybody brings something different.
Exactly.
And you notice, or you're more aware of that when you are faced with something like this. It's everybody has a different strength that they bring, and allowing each person the kindness really to um, allow that to happen. And some people don't have the capacity to even be present in those moments or want anything to do with it, because a lot of that is fear and uncertainty. And I know you talked a little bit about the when you're trying to advocate for somebody that you love, and in this case it was your mom and her health journey. You did such a you honored her so much, I felt like, in this chapter, for because I know that there's one line that you said, and it was, she taught us how to live, but she also taught us how to die. And that, like, oh, that gets me teary-eyed, because I think what a beautiful way to be remembered. And you talk about her grace and her gratitude and
Yeah.
how she passed that down to you, and you were able to be there for her. And I mean, when I go, I want words like that. Like, I can only hope
Right.
that people could say those words. And you've given her that honor by that's a legacy that she's leaving with
Absolutely.
you. And I think, wow, what a beautiful tribute to her. Even though you were talking about some difficult topics in your chapter, you still really honored your mom, and that gift, I think, is it just comes through so um, gracefully in your
Thank
chapter.
you.
That's the word for sure.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom was an incredible woman, and um, I wished I had seen her through this lens earlier in my life,
Right.
right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Often we see it uh, too late or
Hmm. Hmm.
after the fact, and
Hmm.
I'm very grateful that I got to, um, walk her home and just
Yeah.
experience those vulnerable moments with
Hmm.
her. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was truly a gift.
Yeah. I there was something else that you talked about in the chapter, which I think is really, really important. If you can get there, you were able to get there. And I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're grateful that you got there before she left. And
Yeah.
that was coming to that place of acceptance rather than the place of anger, because it's our loved one. That's a normal reaction for us. If there was something that could have been done, whatever that is, I mean, we're all going to have something that we're upset about or we get angry about. But you seem to be able to, and I don't know how long this took you or how long you stayed there, because I'm assuming we have to be there at some point. But whatever that took for you to turn that into accepting it so you could be present, because anger also takes us out,
Yeah.
right? And you're not clear,
It certainly
so.
it certainly can. Yeah,
Mhm.
being heavily in the trenches can really change how we process. And
Mhm.
and that's exactly what I'm referring to is when we're in deep, sometimes we can't take all of the things in, and that's
Yeah.
why we need to be there to
Yeah.
advocate for those that we love. And
Mhm.
would I've responded the same 10 years ago? Probably not.
Mhm.
But that's where I was in my journey.
Right.
And
Yeah.
very grateful to be in that place,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I know that not all of my family members experienced the same thing I did.
Right. Right.
And we're wired to do hard things, but we we step up and do what we can.
Yeah.
And we all took on what we could, right?
Right.
And
Right.
did I ever imagine that I would be giving my mom um, needles of pain meds that were narcotics and
Mhm.
if I overdosed her, could take her immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
whoa,
Yeah. That's terrifying.
never, right?
Yeah.
But
But you did.
somebody had to do it, and I
Yeah.
was the person.
Yeah.
And we're wired to do hard things,
Yeah.
and yeah, trust in yourself, and I just knew that the care that we could provide mom at home was way better than anything she would have had in the system.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm grateful for the system that we have,
Right.
but it's struggling hard right now.
Yeah.
And I feel that, what we were able to give mom at home was second to none.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that would be the best case scenario in any situation if that was possible. And that's not
Yeah.
possible for everybody, but you guys made that happen for
Yeah.
her. And that was the other thing. It was you talked even what the other part was you talked about all the information that's coming in when you're in that moment and to have somebody else's ears listening super important if
Yeah.
it's
And
possible, right? Like,
exactly. And I mean, and
yeah.
that's not even about just doctor's appointments.
Mm-hmm.
It's about lots of big things,
Yeah.
big decisions. It's always
Yeah.
great to have a second set of ears.
Yeah.
And I know going to doctor's appointments with my children as they become, teenagers or young
Right.
adults, sometimes it was just the extra ear and you hear things differently and you maybe can ask a few different questions that they didn't think of,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it kind of has astounded me over the years to hear doctors say, well, what do you want us to do? Because I've I guess I've always had that strong sense of, well, they're supposed to know what to do, right?
Right.
There's no
Right.
magic in medicine,
Right.
and everybody wants a different level of care. And, for them to ask that question in a time where someone doesn't even understand what's going on,
Right.
um, can be really challenging.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
having somebody else there to help navigate through that process can be
Yeah.
so valuable.
Yeah. And you also talked about um, as a caregiver in that role, it was almost like your grieving was put on hold, or I think you said delayed, because
Mhm.
you are so like focused. You got one objective here, and that's making
Mhm.
her feel as loved and taken care of and in the least amount of pain. Like you are focused. So you don't have that time in between to actually grieve during, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And
And part of that might be who I am in nature as well. Like
okay,
when I'm very task focused and
right.
I'm the doer
Hmm.
of the things, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when I get focused on that, that's what I focus on.
yeah,
And um, I can be just as emotional as the next
for
person as
sure.
you've seen.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
We're
not
all
that those
human. We're all
emotions,
human.
exactly. It's not
Yeah,
that those emotions aren't there, or they don't come to the
right.
surface from time to time, but I was able to, you know, remove myself from the situation, go have a cry, and come back and do the things again, right?
Right. Yeah,
But to truly process the grief, I feel like it was delayed for me,
right.
and just busy looking after the things and the people. And
Yeah,
um, yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise for me.
right.
And I guess that's more the awareness that I hope to bring for other people is
Right. Yeah,
that we all grieve at different paces, but um, depending on your scenario, can also determine how that happens. So, you
and
know,
that's the thing, and that's why to me these topics are so important to have conversations around because I know I can never prepare myself for the loss of my parents. I can't. I don't even want to think about it.
yeah,
But what I can do is start practicing some of these tools. That's what I believe, that I can be better in those situations when I've practiced. And I might throw all of them out the window. I might fall apart and not use one of the tools, but at least I think, okay, I can't prepare for that, but I can do what I can now while I'm not emotionally, you know, everything's fine right now. But so
Sure.
now is the time to start gaining some of those tools. And maybe you're not pulling them all out, but at some point, I hope it's like, even if I just learn how to breathe, even
Mhm.
if I learn to just step away for a minute, pause, it's not a bad thing. It's like, I got to give myself that, to be
Yeah.
better there, I got to give here.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about everybody's grieving process is different, everyone's strengths come out. A lot of our weaknesses come out in those moments too, I'm pretty sure. And when you have other family members involved, and I just think the calmer that I can start to practice being, the better I will be able to help. So that's just something, like, if there's something that we can do without having been in this situation, I think it's people like you who have a coaching practice that help people to bring back, help them regulate their nervous system, help them just learn how to take a deep breath. Like, even
Mhm.
that one thing,
Yeah.
it's shocking what
And
that
it
does.
is a practice,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
The inhale love, exhale gratitude
yeah,
really became big for me six and a half years ago in in a trip. I hiked the Inca Trail, and the night before we left, we put temporary tattoos on our body, and that's the one that I chose was inhale love, exhale gratitude, and it resonated with me so deeply
yeah,
through that experience of the hike
yeah.
when I had my own challenges, and it just
Mhm.
brought me back to present and to feel what was in my body and feel the joy and the gratitude in my body
Yeah,
for where I was and what I was experiencing.
yeah,
And it really helped me enjoy the experience and connect on a deeper level with where
yeah,
I was in my
yeah,
life.
yeah.
And I ended up getting that tattooed on my body permanently because
Love
it
it.
it did resonate so deeply,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it does help remind me every day that that's the
That's what
most
it's
important
about.
thing I can do for myself
Yeah,
is to inhale that love and
yeah,
exhale gratitude.
yeah,
And it helps me be who I want to be and
yeah,
be present. And it has helped me pause.
yeah.
I've
Beautiful.
typically been someone to respond quickly, and this has helped me. Okay, just have a breath,
Hmm.
be in the moment, and be
Hmm.
happy with where things are, no matter
Hmm.
what it is.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, was I happy that my mom was dying? Absolutely not. But I was so filled with gratitude
Yeah,
for being able to be there with her,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that she let me in, and some of those conversations that we had. You know, it was truly
Mhm.
a gift.
Yeah, yeah. And a gift both ways
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
her too.
for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I know to kind of sum up your chapter and where this takes you next, advocating for your loved ones, but with a respectful boundary, but firm. So we gotta balance that little, that's a bit of a
Yeah,
dance there, especially when you're, like you
for
said, when we're
sure.
dealing with parents and they have a way of seeing things, and doctors, and look, we've all got different experiences there.
Yeah.
So I love that it was really with loving firmness, but knowing when it's your time to do that. Um, Trusting our intuition,
Hmm.
and that we can really hear it more when we can calm ourselves and
Yeah.
come from that place of, like you said, inhale that gratitude, or
It
inhale
was
love, exhale the gratitude.
it was really
Beautiful.
interesting to watch, how the men processed things through this journey versus the women.
Yeah.
And in our experience, it was um, the men really focused on things were going to be okay, and
Oh, interesting.
um, where us as women in the family could see it more real as to
Yeah.
where she really was in
Mm.
this journey.
Hmm.
And so that was also a really big lesson. And,
Hmm.
we're walking this journey again with my parents or with my husband's parents now.
Yeah.
And, their health challenges and how I've had to navigate things with my husband in getting him to step up a little bit more. And it's not his comfort zone, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like if he doesn't, he's going to regret it.
Right.
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 So I'm
Yeah.
gently trying to, nudge him in that direction.
Yeah.
And It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot for a family. And
Hmm.
if you have a few siblings that can do it together, it certainly helps lessen the load.
Yeah.
And I know that family dynamics are, they are what they are, and
Yeah.
you navigate the best that you can.
Hmm.
But yeah, we all do it a little differently, but sometimes we need to nudge those
Yeah.
beside us as well.
Right. Right. And be able to ask for help. And also, I think another really important piece that you touched on, we may have touched on a little bit, but was really having that kindness for yourself as well, for what you're going through and the grieving process while you're caregiving.
Sure.
So there's that really important piece. And it's also a really great reminder for maybe it's the people on our outer circle that aren't in the caregiving part, but how important of a role they play as well. Like you said afterwards, like those cards meant something. Like
Yeah.
it was a lot, those messages, the stories about your mom, like those are things that I'm assuming you valued a lot. And it's such a small thing that people can do,
It
but
really
they
is.
mean a lot. They
It
mean a
really
lot.
is,
Yeah.
and that makes me want to make sure that I take those actions in the future
Right. Yeah.
for those around me as
Yeah.
well to support them
Yeah.
differently than maybe I have in the past.
Right.
For sure.
It's now that you've experienced, you know how much that handwritten note meant, or
Hmm.
that, whatever that was, just reaching out to you. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Or, it's just making sure that you're taking care of the caregiver as
Yeah.
well, letting them
Yeah.
know that they aren't alone. And so much of that of your chapter felt like that to me, of we're not alone in this, even though it might feel like a lonely place, but there's other people that have
Yeah.
been through it, and it's important that we feel we can reach out when we need the help too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lesa, I would love to end this on the other thing that you said was, which I love because that's what I think of you when I think of this, when you wrote it in the chapter. But your mom smiled from the
To the very
time
end. To the very end.
till the
Yeah.
very end. And I just think, wow, because your smile is infectious. Your smile is absolutely beautiful. It makes all of us feel, you make us feel like that when we, or me, I'll talk for me. When I see your smile, it's like, ah, like
Oh, thank
I
you.
automatically, my shoulders drop a little bit. I'm like, yeah, she's got me. Like, so I
Oh,
just love so much that you said that about your mom, but I also think that it is said about you, and maybe it's not said enough to your face, so that's why I'm saying it to you, because
oh,
it
thank you.
does mean a lot. So I appreciate you. I love all that you do for so many people in your community, in person and not in person. You are somebody to me that is making a real difference, and the world needs more people like you. So I just thank you so much for being a part of the second volume, and your voice matters, your story matters, and it will help. It has already helped. So thank
Well,
you.
thanks so much, Carrie. This opportunity that you've provided for all of us taking part, it's been huge, right?
Yeah.
And without that opportunity, I think a lot of that would still be just in here.
Yeah, and that's my hope. As long as there's still women that are courageous enough to want a platform to share their story, I can't ever see stopping now. And I didn't even think there was going to be a volume two. So this is crazy.
Wonderful. I
So
love
thank
it.
you. Thank you so much, Lesa, for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody gets their hands on this book, because there's something in there for everybody.
There really is. Yeah.
There really is. Yep. And I I am excited for whoever won that coaching session with you that you graciously gave out at our virtual book launch, which hasn't happened yet, but it's happened now since we recorded
That's
this.
right.
So thank you
Yeah.
so much. And can you just really quickly say maybe where people could get a hold of you?
Sure. At Lesa Mueller on Instagram.
Okay,
I'm on Facebook.
perfect.
Yeah, all over.
Okay, we'll find you.
Contacts are all in the book.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Lesa, and thank you everybody for listening and watching. And we will see you next time.
Thanks, Carrie.
Bye-bye.